It's getting a little late. No, thanks, Heath. Kind words. We appreciated your input. I'm going to ask Coach Doeden to come up. And then I'm going to let him seek out some others that have some words to say. Nobody can talk as long as Heath. That was awesome. But who asked him to talk? Harold? No, just kidding. Run the 12 and punt the football.
That's right. Hey, that's a tough one to follow. That was pretty special. And I don't know, was he an English major? That was really great. But well, first of all, what's that? Well, I could tell that was really good. So, anyway, what a great night! Just want to thank all the people who got this organized. And it's nice to have Coach Burton here because Coach Davis and I could not do this electronic stuff at all. Yeah, I mean, wow, that's pretty cool. So, we used to run the 16 millimeter back in the day, and so anyway, it's pretty cool. First of all, a little story about this. I know you see this arm thing here, and you probably think it's just old age, but really, it is. No, you probably wonder, well, maybe it was, when he played scout team, too many passes. I used to throw those laser darts on 320 out. Anybody remember 320 out? 320 out, 90 fly, right? Then all those passes in pregame, right? Cody, you got into that a little bit. But I'd like to say it was from all that throwing, but I'm right-handed. So it's just old age. But anyway, what a thrill to be here with all you guys, seeing all these people. And Coach Foster mentioned he'd like to hear some memories. So I was going a little different slant on some memories. I brought some, being a science teacher, I always like to show stuff. So I brought some memorabilia. And this one really goes back. This clipboard has been to every football game that I've coached. And on this clipboard there are 2 3x5 cards that I wrote out in 1973 when I first started. That was in a different century, of course. And I really didn't know much about football, and because Coach South made, and you guys from that era remember, because we don't do it quite like this anymore, but we had agilities and cals, and I didn't know I couldn't remember what they were, so I wrote those down. They're still on there. Those are from 1973, and some of you old guys will remember things like quarter eagles. Remember those? Any of you older guys? We used to do 3-man roll. These are warm-ups agility. 3-man rolls, crab drills, scramble drills, all sorts of stuff like that. But anyway, this thing's been with me for a long time, so I thought that was kind of some of you probably saw me throw this down once or twice. This is titanium. I ordered this special because I knew my temper might get the best of me, so that was kind of a neat thing that I had. And let's see, what else do I have in my bag here? Some of you've seen these on the pictures back there. Now, aren't you glad? Aren't you glad? Look at Zach's hat. I mean, these are definitely not neater, but you know what? 1986, we thought this. I don't know who gave us these, but wow, we got caps. Because I used to wear my old. I used to play for a baseball team. I used to wear my old Waterloo baseball cap. We got a cap. This is Wapsie Valley. This cap, I got it written on the bill. In fact, I remember showing it to some kids in 2007, 2012. 1986 state champ cap. I wore that. 87, I wore that. And then after that, I think we got some nicer caps. But this was in remember my red bag I carried around? My red bag, and this was at every state championship game. So this hat has a special place hanging in my basement with the other stuff that I have. So. Oh, yeah. We had an interview on that. That's right. So that's. What a memory, Ryan. What a memory. So anyway, and then, Heath kind of mentioned this, and, we're talking about memories, and I always remember the little kids standing by the hillside, and you guys going up, and I just wondered, when you guys, all you players who were little, did you have an idol? Can you name your idol? Do you know your idol? Who was your idol? Trevor Shannon. Why not? Now, did anybody have an idol that was a lineman? Did you have an idol that was you should, that's right. But everybody had idols, and of course that was in our little community here. But as you already mentioned, my family was involved in it for a lot of years, and I think it was in 1990. My 10-year-old at that time, he always came to the games. He came to practices. They'd play around with the South Maid boys and stuff like that. And for Christmas one year, just to show you how far reach that the Wapsie Valley football players grab kids, because this kid, he lived in Cedar Falls. He didn't know anything about it. And so for Christmas one year, he wanted a jersey. He wanted a Wapsie Valley football jersey. So I don't know if I can hold this up, you can see it, but it's got Wapsie on the back, right? That's pretty cool, because they had to have a small one. 1990, he had number 9. Who was number 9 in 1990? Troy Davis was his idol, And it even goes further. Yeah, that's pretty special. But, he kind of knew Troy from being around the family. But, that was a special thing to him, even living in Farsway, Sioux Falls. And in that winter, he was in Cub Scouts, and we had some kind of bake sale to raise money. And he asked, Ann asked him, well, what kind of cake do you want? And he says, oh, I want a Troy Davis cake. And so we made a cake that had a number 9 with Wapsie Valley colors, and I think it brought big money. So yeah, you guys don't realize, or I think you probably do in some cases, just how far you touch other, especially little kids, and they look up to you. And I think Heath really put that in perspective quite well. Going way back, a couple stories here, just how I got connected. So, 1973, I didn't have a job. And I applied for a science teaching job, said science coaching at Wapsie Valley High School. I had no clue where that was. I was the big guys from the Cyclone Land, Iowa State, and I said, what's this place? So anyway, came up for the interview, and fortunately, during the interview, they said there were some coaching jobs available, and I think Mr. Withers was, he was interviewing me, and he mentioned the kind of jobs they had, and they said they had basketball, and baseball, and football, and he said to you, and I mentioned, well, I was a baseball player, that was my big thing, I could play baseball, but he said, well, do you have any background in football? And I said, well, I watched a game once. And, and they said, well, you can have that job, and I don't know much about this football thing, but I'll take it. And, I will say taking that football job was the 5th best thing that ever happened in my life. The 5th. Because I got, 1 was marrying my wife. Come on, right, guys? You got to say that, right? And the other 3, of course, were my children. So that was the 5th best decision I ever made in my life, because obviously I wouldn't be here with all you great people, and just, the crazy thing, I came from that, and I didn't know anything about football, and I don't know if I still do, but at least I know what 42 is, and 15 is. And every generation here of football players know those plays. So anyway, I think that's about all I really have to say. And one last thing. Is there any football players here, did I ever holler at you? If you would, raise your hand, please. Okay. There was an old saying, we used to say, well, you know what? We holler at you because we care about you and we love you. And you know what? We still do. Thank you. I'm going to pass it. We're going to get the coach. We're going to keep the coaching thing going here. I should tell one more story. Can I tell? I get the stories. I don't get to talk to people much anymore. 1973, got the job at Wapsie Valley. Sitting in my house in Cedar Falls. I don't know what day it was, but I was getting ready for a baseball game. I was sitting in the living room chair, looking out the window, putting my socks on and stuff like that. And up drives this yellow Chevelle up in front of my dad's house. And okay, no thing. Well, out of the driver's side steps this giant of a guy, black hair, Buddy Holly glasses on. I said, who? Then outside the passenger door steps this like miniature version of Mr. America, walks out. I said, who are these two characters? They got like orange shirts on, and we used to wear some. They start walking up the driveway. I said, who are these guys? They knock on the door. I answer and said, this booming voice, we're here to meet the football coach. And you know what I'm talking about. It was Coach Southmaid and Coach Davis. And there was another important thing in my life because they become You know, they were great, well, not just football coaches, but great people to be around, and we had some great years. And anyway, so I'm going to turn it over. Next in line, Coach Davis. What, Matthew? What? Matthew, let's say something. What?
You gotta be the only coach that's ever had a goalpost fall on you.
I tried to, you know, I can't remember that, and I don't know why. Oh, that's why. That's a long story. Ask me afterwards about that one. So.
Hey, what about mass tackle?
You know, I got thinking about that. You know, maybe that's when I got hurt. Pursuit drill, right? Was that your year? Got driven out of bounds by some freshman kid. Jeez. And you know what? I didn't get mad, did I? I did not get mad. Who was it? Jared Nuss. Put me into the third row.